Hi guys. Hi Sandy. Hi Rosie. Hi Kelly. April, Linda, everyone. I hope you guys are enjoying this beautiful day. What is the temperature here in MacArthur today? Let's see. Sherm. Well, it is 7 o'clock almost. Sherm said it was really hot out there today. And he walked today. But now, here about 7 o'clock at 6:45, it is 74. I think 75 is like the perfect temperature. 74 is a really nice evening, I think, and the sun's just going down. We should be sitting outside, sure.
No thanks. I've been out too many times today.
Kelly, if you're watching, we are just now getting started on the video at almost 7 o'clock. That's why we're late, guys. That's why the video's late. It's going to take a couple hours to load. I keep messing up and people keep calling me. This one thing right after another. So hopefully we'll get through it this time. If you guys would like to follow along, we will be reading John chapter 21, all of chapter 21 today in the New International Version. And you remember how Peter denied Jesus 3 times, right? Well, you're going to see, and I told you, that Peter did not stop loving Jesus. He didn't deny him because he didn't care about him. Peter denied him because he was afraid. He was afraid for his life. He was scared. He still loved Jesus very much. And Jesus didn't lose no love at all for Peter. He loved Peter. He knew Peter was going to deny him. That's why he told Peter, "You'll deny me 3 times, Peter, before the rooster crows today." Well, you're going to see that Jesus still loves Peter today, and that Peter still loves Jesus. When Jesus reinstates Peter today, you're going to see that by Jesus asking Peter the same question 3 times. And Peter gets heartbroken because he doesn't know why Jesus keeps asking him the same question. But you'll see what I mean. But before that, we're going to talk about Jesus and the miraculous catch of fish. And Peter was sure happy when he knew that it was Jesus that was standing on the shore. Sandy, you'll remember this from A.D., a movie that Sandy and I have called A.D. It talks about after Jesus' death and resurrection, how it was like for the Christians and stuff, and Jesus' disciples. And this part of the Bible about Jesus and the miraculous fishing catch was in that movie A.D. And I just pictured that Jesus that played that, and those guys who played the disciples. I picture them when I'm reading this. But let's get started here. You'll see how excited Peter is here in a minute. Afterward, Jesus appeared again to his disciples by the Sea of Galilee. It happened this way. Simon Peter, Thomas, also known as Didymus, Nathanael from Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and 2 other disciples were together. "I'm going out to fish," Simon Peter told them. And they said, "We'll go with you." So they went out and got into the boat. But that night they caught nothing. Early in the morning, Jesus stood on the shore, but the disciples did not realize that it was Jesus. He called out to them, "Friends, haven't you any fish?" "No," they answered. He said, "Throw your net out on the right of the boat, and you will find some." When they did, they were unable to haul the net in because of the large number of fish. Then the disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter, "It is the Lord." As soon as Simon Peter heard him say, "It is the Lord," he wrapped his outer garment around him for he had taken it off, and jumped into the water. The other disciples followed in the boat, towing the net full of fish, for they were not far from the shore, about 100 yards. When they landed, they saw a fire of burning coals there with a fish on it and some bread. Jesus said to them, "Bring some of the fish you just caught." So Simon Peter climbed back into the boat and dragged the net ashore. It was full of large fish, 153. But even with so many, the net was not torn. Jesus said to them, "Come and have some breakfast." None of the disciples dared ask him, "Who are you?" They knew it was the Lord. And I noticed him reading it because I got goosebumps. Jesus came, took the bread, and gave it to them, and did the same with the fish. This was now the third time Jesus appeared to his disciples after he was raised from the dead. Now, you're going to see how Jesus reinstates Peter. When they had finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" "Yes, Lord," he said, "you know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my lambs." Again, Jesus said, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" He answered, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said, "Take care of my sheep." The third time he said to him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him the third time, "Do you love me?" He said, "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my sheep. Very truly I tell you, when you were younger, you dressed yourself and went where you wanted. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands, and someone else will dress you and lead you where you do not want to go." Jesus said this to indicate the kind of death by which Peter would glorify God. Then he said to him, "Follow me." Now, do you remember me telling you how Peter died? Peter died by being crucified. But what made Peter's crucifixion different was he refused to be crucified like Jesus, because Jesus was his Lord and Savior. And he knew he didn't want to bring himself up to the level of Jesus. So he asked to be crucified upside down, so he wouldn't have been killed in the same way as Jesus was, to make, Jesus better than him still. He didn't want to say he was as good as or better than Jesus. I think you get what I'm trying to say. But Peter was crucified upside down. That's what Jesus is talking about here. He would, but when you are old, you will stretch out your hands, because they're going to put him on the cross. And someone else will dress you. They'll put him in whatever they want him to wear, just like they did Jesus by taking everything off him that he had on. They'll put on Peter whatever they decide to let him wear, or throw on him at the time, or not let him wear. And someone will lead you where you do not want to go, which will lead to the cross to be crucified. So let's continue on here, finishing up chapter 21. Peter turned and saw that the disciple whom Jesus loved was following them. This was the one who had leaned back against Jesus at the supper and had said, "Lord, who is going to betray you?" Remember when Jesus said that one of the 12 disciples were going to betray him when they were at the Last Supper? And the one that he loved asked him who it was, and he said the one that dips their hand in to the bowl with me, or the one I give the bread to. There's two, slightly different versions, but they knew it was Judas. But when Judas got up to leave, they thought Jesus knew it was Judas, but the disciples thought that Jesus was just telling Judas to go do something for the poor, or go prepare something to get ready for something, something for the cause. They didn't know Jesus was telling him that he knew what he was doing, to go do it and do it quickly. And I don't know if Judas really knew in his heart that Jesus knew what it was either. Because Satan entered Judas at that moment, it said, remember? And we're getting off track here, sorry. This was the one who leaned back against Jesus at the supper and had said, "Lord, who is going to betray you?" When Peter saw him, he asked, "Lord, what about him?" Because Jesus told Peter the death he was going to have, and said, "Follow me," by going through all this. And he pointed to the one that Jesus loved, the disciple that Jesus loved, and said, well, what about him, Lord? And Jesus says to Peter, Jesus answered, "If I want him to remain alive until I return, what is that to you? You must follow me." Because of this, the rumor spread among the believers that this disciple would not die. But Jesus did not say that he would not die. He only said, "If I want him to remain alive until I return, what is that to you?" This is the disciple who testifies to these things and who wrote them down. We know that his testimony is true. Jesus did many other things as well. If every one of them were written down, I suppose that even the whole world would not have room for the books that would be written. What do you think about that? Let me read that to you one more time. Jesus did many other things as well. If every one of them were written down, I suppose that even the whole world would not have room for the books that would be written, for all the things that Jesus did. And that's where we're stopping with John. That was chapter 21. Okay, guys, we finally finished up Psalm 119 yesterday. Today we are reading Psalm 120, a song of ascents. I call on the Lord in my distress, and he answers me. Save me, Lord, from lying lips and from deceitful tongues. What will he do to you, and what more besides, you deceitful tongue? He will punish you with a warrior's sharp arrows, with burning coals of a broom bush. Woe to me that I dwell in Meshech, that I live among the tents of Kedar. Too long I have lived among those who hate peace. I am for peace, but when I speak, they are for war. Kind of reminds me of the current situation I was just in. Our Father is good about that. Like all the time. Like something will just happen, or I'll be thinking of something that hasn't happened for years, or I'll be thinking that something, if this would happen, this would be like, I wish somebody would, do this, or somebody would call, or somebody would say something, and then it would happen, or somebody would just automatically say it or something. It like automatically pops up, or something just automatically happens. Like right after you say that or think it or something. I just look up and I'm like, I know that was you. Every time. He does that to me all the time. And I think that's what he did today with this reading. Father, with my situation with one of my sisters, Because her life is kind of full of a lot of drama. War. And I want more peace in my life. So we kind of had to take a break from each other. And this song just made me think of that. Sandy, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I did do what I promised you I would do last night. I did do that this morning. Alright guys, ending today's Bible reading is Proverbs chapter 16, verses 16 and 17. How much better to get wisdom than gold, to get instant rather than silver. Sherm, how long has it been?
16 minutes.
I messed up.
Please.
I was talking to them. I messed up on this proverb. I gotta read it over. I have a tendency of doing that. I'm sorry. My eyes are blurry today. How much better to get wisdom than gold, to get insight rather than silver. The highway of the upright avoids evil. Those who guard their ways preserve their lives. The highway of the upright avoids evil. That also makes me think about things. Those who guard their ways preserve their lives. That makes me think about the current situation I was in as well. Sandy, you'll know what I'm talking about. We talked about it all night last night. Because I was wondering if I did the right thing, and I think this is maybe our Father's way of letting me know that I did do the right thing for me. I just, don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Nobody ever cares about hurting mine, but I'm not that way. I just don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. God don't want me to be around a bunch of bad stuff all the time either, so. And this, I think, makes me see that God thinks what I did was the right thing to do. So that makes me feel a little better about it. A lot better about it, actually. I'm still sad for having to take her out of my life, but I hope it's the best for both of us. Let's get our prayer books out. Okay guys, we need to keep Sandy in prayer. Sandy's eye's doing really good last I heard. We need to keep Sandy in prayer. She'll be having another eye surgery soon. We need to keep Eric in prayer. Oh, excuse me. We need to keep Eric in prayer. He really, really, really needs a kidney. He's been on dialysis for 4 years, and he's only 24. He really needs a kidney. Please, please pray hard for him. Please put him on your church prayer list if you have one. If you go to church, please put Eric on it. Pray for Eric to get a kidney, please. Please pray for Macy. She's 16 years old and got a brain tumor. We want to pray that when she goes back for her next scan next month in July. Can you believe next month is July already? I can't. Seems like we just got over Christmas and here we are in June. But anyway, when Macy goes back in July for her scan, we want to pray that God has made that tumor go away. He's done it with people before. I know he can do it. It's just if it's his will or not. And of course, His will be done as always. Let's keep Melly in our prayers, and Barb and Doris, Melly's mom and grandma. Let's keep Christopher Surback in our prayers. Ona Whetstone. Kenny Wellman, he needs a kidney as well. Sherman Crabtree, he had his EMG on his arm today. He said it wasn't that bad. They're supposed to send the reports to the doctor when they get it done. He said the test wasn't that bad, Sandy. So I was glad to hear that. We need to pray for April and Linda Thacker. They both have a lot of health problems, and we want to pray for April to get her shots approved that she really needs for her lungs. The insurance is fighting it, of course. They do it with a lot of things. They do it with some of mine insurance medicine as well. Sometimes you just have to fight with the doctor. You know, have your doctor fight for you to get the medicine. A lot of times that'll work. We need to keep Josh Mollett, Vidalia Mercer, and their unborn baby Braxton in our prayers. We need to keep Roy and Lori Mollett in our prayers. We need to keep Joe Osborne in our prayers. Really, really, really bad. He's out of there now. He's out of the jail rehab place now. And is back home. And around the same people that he was before. And I heard things are not starting off as good already as the very first day he got out. The drama started the very first day he got out. Him and Melly need a lot of prayer. For both of their lives. Not just for their life together, but for both their lives individually. Joe needs to stay away from drugs, for one thing. Completely away from drugs and stealing. Or his life's never going to change if he doesn't. He's sober now. So if he turns back to drugs now, it's not looking good, that's all I'm saying. What I've heard is not, that I was afraid it was going to be this way. But that's why I'm asking us to still keep praying. Just please. Let's keep praying for Rick Post. I don't know if he's having surgery or not on his back. He's got a herniated disc pinching on his nerve. That's where all his pain's coming from. Let's pray for Debbie Lee. She's in a lot of pain and she'll be having surgery this month. She's got a lot of health problems. Let's pray for Tammy Ashworth. She has a lot of health problems. Let's pray for Cindy Welsh. She has a bad health problem right now. She is having to deal with. It's a really important health issue that she really needs prayer for. Let's keep Mindy Gallimore in our prayers. Something's going on with her lungs. Let's keep Rhonda Karshner in our prayers for good health and happiness. And Abby and Jimmy Myers. To keep them happy and safe and healthy. And that is all, guys. And I do have homework for you guys tonight. Didn't have any yesterday. I gave you guys the night off. But I got one for you tonight. Here is your question for tonight. Remember, no cheating. When King David, actually he wasn't even a king then, but when King David was a kid, before he was even king, when David was a kid, who did he kill and how? David killed somebody when he was a kid, and he did it in a very special way. Tell me who he killed and how. That is your homework for tonight. Brother Jesus and Father, please watch over everyone on our prayer list. Please watch over Sandy. Please watch over Eric and Macy. Please let Macy's brain tumor. Please take Macy's brain tumor away, Father. Please don't let her have it no more. Please, when she goes back for that scan in July, let that tumor be gone. Please take away her headaches. Please let Eric get the kidney that he needs. And please let the surgeries be great for Sandy's eyes. Please let the surgeries work miracles for her. Please work on Joe and Mellie's lives. Even if it means they gotta be separated to have better lives. Please help them. Please be with her in the Whetstone and help her. She's got a lot of health problems. Please help Kenny Wellman to get a kidney. Please let them find whatever's wrong with Sherman's arm on his EMG report so he can finally find out what's going on with his arm. And please let them find out what's going on with his stomach, or please heal his stomach for him, Father, so he'll feel better, because he's just miserable right now. Please be with Christopher Surback. Please be with April and Linda Thacker, and please let April get her shots approved. Please be with Josh Mollett and Bedelia Mercer and their unborn baby, Braxton Lee. Please let the baby be born healthy, and let Bedelia and Josh stay healthy. Josh just got a job at Walmart. Please watch over Roy and Lori Mollett, and Barb Post and Doris Thompson, and Rick Post, Tammy Ashworth and Debbie Lee. They all have health problems, and Debbie will be having surgery this month. Please watch over Rhonda Karshner, Jimmy Myers, Abby Myers, and Mindy Gallimore. And please watch over Cindy Welsh, Father. You know the health problems she's having right now, and you know how worried I am about it. Please be with her and please heal her. Please touch her and heal her. And please let her get well. Please let your word today have touched at least one person's heart, so that they will spread your word to someone else. And we love you, Brother Jesus and Father, with all of our hearts and souls. Thank you for this beautiful, beautiful evening, for this beautiful day. And thank you for giving me a sign in the Bible reading tonight that I made the right decision. And thank you for giving me such wonderful sisters in Christ to have by my side to help me make these decisions. Amen. Amen. Okay, guys, well, that was our Bible reading and our prayer and everything. I hope it touched your guys' hearts. Remember, no cheating on the Bible question. Let's bring those souls to Jesus, and God willing, I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another Bible reading. Bye, guys. God bless.